Test 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right, good evening and welcome to the Amateur TV Net, which is held every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. I'm Neil VK3BCU. Okay, this evening, stations that have checked in just for watching this evening: Bob3BVR, Rob3IE, Fred ZAQ, a regular watcher, Mark VK3PI and Clint VK3CSJ. First up this evening will be Joe VK3TET on RTV2, and then Peter will be on RTV1 after Joe. So after Joe, please switch across to RTV1, and Peter will be putting it across to Richard VK3VRS, and then Richard back to me. So welcome, Peter. I don't see you up on RT. Sorry, it's a bit of a change of plan today. Get ready, Joe, VK3TET. So please stand by for Joe, VK3TET on RTV2. Take it away, Joe.
Well, here's my journey with guy wires. Well, first of all, you need these tools. One of them is a swage tool. Essentially, it's a crimping tool for these special thimbles that you have and swages. And the other is a cutting tool. You need a clean cut on the stainless steel ropes. Couple of ropes available, obviously at a 4mm one, really strong, and 3.2 mil. I actually used a 3.2 mil because it suffices for my needs as such. It comes in these 30-meter rolls. Both of them are available at Bunnings. The roll's about $30 or something like that, around that figure. Obviously I needed 4 of those, more than enough to do a relatively good mast. Mine was 6 meters with 2 points of guys. Right, we need these thimbles, and we need to secure these thimbles to the rope, and this is where we use that swage tool. And there are specific swage sizes. This one's 3.2 millimeter. The tool is essentially a crimper, but it's a special crimper for these devices. The swages are actually made out of copper. They're sort of tin plated, but essentially it's copper, so they are quite soft. And the whole idea is that with this compression, it literally sort of fuses itself into the rope, into all the little, well, crevasses, I suppose, because the rope is just sort of wound all together. And it is a really strong bond. It's highly unlikely that it'll slip out. So that's a close look at it. Obviously I'm not going to do a crimp, it's already been crimped there, but it'll just give you an idea how it works. There's various sizes. This one actually, I haven't really tried it with 4 mils. I think it will work, but it does 3.2s no problem. Okay, so that's the way that the crimper works. Obviously it's important to be able to cut the wires so you can have a nice clean bit, so you can, you know, when you put it for the thimble and terminate it, it'll be nice and clean. And I must admit that cutting tool is really good. It's not easy to cut stainless steel rope. I don't know how long this will last. They're relatively cheap tools, but put it this way, for the number of cuts that I had to make, the tool is still new, so you'll probably get your mileage out of it. Yeah, you just sort of put it in there in these opposing blades as such, and yeah, just apply some force and it does a really clean cut. So yeah, that's the close-up of it. Not difficult to use. relatively easy. 3.2 mil is quite well served by this tool. I haven't cut the 4 mil, but I suppose since the diameters of the wires are pretty much the same, maybe even thinner on the 4 mil rope, so I think it should be okay. These are the swages and the rope wire thimbles. Obviously these ones are the ones that I've used for the rope that I had, the 3.2 mil, but there's some other handy little devices that I had to use. Some of those are quite evident. One handy device that you will need is the D-shackle. Then you've got the other things like this particular clamp, or what do you call it, a variable eyelet one. I suppose the real name, it's a quick link, and they come in different sizes obviously, depending on the ropes you use and the joints that you're going to be making. That's the D-shackle. D-shackle comes in very handy because it's used to terminate the actual bolts or lag screws that I've used, and you'll see that in a minute. But one of the most important things is to have these turnbuckles. They come in various sizes, depending how much freedom you want and how much tightness you want. If you're really good at cutting the lengths and you know exactly how to do it, this particular size should be sufficient. You don't really need the big ones. Now these are the actual lag screws. What I've done, my joists are such in the roof are sort of exposed. Well, you know, there's a bit of tin there, so I drilled a 10 mil hole, and then I put these I drilled the hole into the tin, and then I screwed these lag screws into the joists, and they're really strong. Put it this way, it'll probably be, well, the wire will be able to pull out the lag screw, right? It's strong enough for doing that, but you're talking about over 100 kilos of brute force, and since there's 4 lag screws and there's 4 guys, you're talking about 400 kilos of force required to rip the whole thing apart. Other little handy things are these stainless steel pulleys. There's also the little rope grips, just in case you need to sort of terminate some things that don't need to be crimped. And just to give you an idea, if you really got a really heavy wire, you're going to use that 4mm one with 900 kilograms of force, you can use those ginormous eyelets. Now I actually got some chain as well. I had to sort of mount certain things really strong, and this is sort of my go-to. It's quite potent. You're talking about 700 kilos, but it's not too bad. It's not too expensive, and you can use that, and obviously you can put it through the actual quick links and so forth to secure it to whatever posts you need. Now, getting back to this wire, the 4mm wire can handle 180 kilos on load, but the braking force is over 900 kilos. So I don't think you'll need anything bigger than that for whatever mast you've got. Here's a close-up of the structure of the ropes. The little picture shows it all. It's a relatively strong rope. This one, particularly the one that I use, the 3.2, has a braking force of 590 kilos and 115 safe working load, more than adequate for my needs. The 4mm obviously has a stronger braking force and working load. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this video. That's my journey with the guy wires.
Technical issues. Hello everyone, I'm not Peter, I'm Richard. So yeah, we had a bit of a black screen, so Peter's just figuring out what's going on his system. So all of us can always have a problem somewhere along the line. Very good. Anyway, I've been a busy boy again. Still doing the renovations in the backyard, and yeah, so that's taking up a bit of time. But I did manage to get a little bit done. I heard all that, so Peter will come in after me. Yeah, so just a reminder of what's that. So just behind me there, I'm streaming the International Space Station, and it's decided, no, don't want to stream, can't see it anymore. So it was an interesting view, all up until now. Anyway, I think that's about 15-20 minutes it's usually off for. Anyway, so I've got, oh, there you go, it's back already. Nope, gone again. Nope, back. Anyway, oh, no, I just flicked. Yeah, anyway, so obviously, I don't know if people have heard, but not this weekend, next weekend. There's a very important event happening, and I'm going to run a video right now, and that will sort of probably tip people off a little bit, but more on this later. Let's just enjoy the video. Rightio, here we are. We're basically set up. We've got a few antennas set up here. Mark's not transmitting, so I'll walk in front. So this is our setup here, with all our antennas. You can probably hear it's a little bit windy. So there's a couple. There's the cars behind us. And just to have a look at our view that we've got. There's Mark. There's our view. So this is where we currently are. So this is Cape Horn Lookout near Lock. Town of Lock is just that way. And this is basically our car park. So we've got a gazebo set up, our grid packs. Here's our radio set up. So you can see we've got our desks. We forgot to bring some pegs for the gazebo. Got a couple of other antennas there that we're going to try. Our setup, a bit easier to see in here. So you can see there's my 905 handheld and laptop, and Mark's here. He's got the 705, also the Yaesu, with all his bits and pieces hiding inside there. So that's our setup at the moment, and this is what we've got looking at. The rest of the 905 is down there. You can see we've got 240 volts supplied by that cable, which disappears into my car, and nice big lithium battery, so 200 amp hour. The inverter is hiding underneath that bit there. So that's our current setup. Obviously we've got our cars set up as well, but if we didn't have this wind it'd be perfect. And next time, mental note, remember to bring the pegs for the gazebo. And tell God no wind. So we've got a fridge, we'll be cooking later on. The time is currently, what is the time? 10:50, and we're pretty much 11:50. Yep, and we're pretty much all set up. We just sort of tinker a little bit now. We see the antennas that we've got here, just to explain. So that's a 2.4 grit pack. That's a 2.4 panel, not connected at the moment. Can only connect one antenna for each band at a time. That's a 5.8, all horizontally polarized. That's a 5.8 dish, which we're going to try as well. And 2.4, it's got a dual feed. And there's Mark's set up over there. So he's got 2.4, 5.8, 3.4, 1.2, and the dual band up there. So, yeah, very impromptu. Mark's there. Hello, Mark. So, busy doing. And that's my setup. So, yeah, we'll do a bit of filming later on. And I'll splice it in and make it look like something. All right, bye.
Yeah, I've got 5.7 and 10, so they're the bands we're working. So, the 905 is sounding very nice. I also have a 905, but I've got it set up as a home station. So maybe we'll work it from there one day. Not sure where you're located home-wise, but you're at portable meeting spot. Find you, sure. Okay. Do you want to... we're going to work Andrew on 3.4. Have you worked Richard yet, Andrew? No. No. All right, back to you. VK3VRS, VK3HY.
VK3HY, VK3VRS. Yeah, there's lots of radios going on at the moment. Yeah, the 905 is really good. My home QDH is actually Berwick, and I'm at 110 metres above sea level from there. So I've actually set up my 905 so I can easily take it portable and still use it as a base station at home. So it's basically sitting on the ground at the moment on a piece of carpet, and I'm just running some LMR 400 to the antennas. Obviously using a little patch antenna, patch lead to change it from the SMA to the N. Food. Very important thing. All right. And then we've got our chef, Mark. We've also got a blow-in MAP has joined us as well. So he's doing 2 metres, hiding there. There he is, hiding with his setup. Yeah, enjoying. And then we've got our beautiful setup here. The wind has died off a fair bit, so it's not as windy. We're not worried about our tent taking off. 5 gig is active, which is good. And we've got monitoring 2.4, 1.2 and 439. Oh, and another bonus from this location, just with my handheld. I don't know if you can see that, but that's RMC. And we've got RMC full scale on the handheld. Very good. Enjoy, guys. Rightio. We've had some lunch and we've been doing some operating, but we've also got some more hams visiting. Stu, SGL, has come to visit as well. So we're got a few of us here now, which is quite good. It's great. It's great that we can get people out and about. We've still got some antennas to play with, so down there. So still plenty to do. So we're looking forward to it. We might even see at some stage if we can do some video, because I did bring a little camera. So we might see if we can connect that up to the 905 and see if we can make it happen. So there's the 905 down there. Been doing very well. Plenty of contacts on 5 gig. I'm mainly operating 5 gig at the moment, and obviously 2.4. I do have a 1.2 gig antenna, but I've got a bit of a lack of coax at the moment. So you can see 3 antennas haven't got coax in it, but one of mine's going over to this dish. So we've been lining up with 1.2 on Mark's radio, and then I've been contacting on 5 gig on that dish, so we can line up and then contact. So that sort of worked very well. Our gazebo's suffering a bit because of the wind, but other than that, all good. All right, that's it for now. Tune in later.
For live news on the planets, cosmology, sunspots and more, every Friday at 10 p.m. Clint VK3 CSJ presents the Astronomical Society of Victoria broadcast on this amateur television repeater, VK3 RTV Channel 1.
Alright, there we go. So, hope that inspires some people to get out on the mad day. Mad day is, well, there's the advertising. Yep, no signal. Oh. Yep, there we go, mad day. So, Saturday, November the 3rd, all the activity, bit of activity sort of starts before 2, but generally a lot of the activity happens in the afternoon. That gives everyone a chance to get to hilltop locations, and set up and test a few things and so forth. So you hear a few calls before then. Be great if you can link up with somebody, find out their location. In fact, I might have a little bit more information for people next week about how they can find where people are, and maybe even join in from home, see if they can actually hear some of the activity, at least on 23 SEMS. That's pretty easy to get. Anyone with a 9700 will be able to do that, but we are horizontally polarised and on SSB, so bear that in mind. The only FM we tend to use is on the liaison frequency, which is 439. So that's it in a nutshell for me. I will go to the U-Butte, my normal test pattern, and hand it over to
Good evening. A little bit of a hiccup there. I'm not sure what was going on, but never mind. Richard seemed to give the system a bit of a kick in the pants, and all good. And really good to see all that microwave activity. That's fantastic, and great to see people out and about as well. So that's really good. Joe, yes, I've had some experience with stainless steel cable. I've refacilitated Nelly Tower at least once, and I do have guys on another pole, but I use those little clamps rather than swaging the guy on. So yeah, I guess everyone's got their own way of doing things, but I can verify that the stainless steel cable is really hard to cut, and I didn't have. Turn that off for a sec. That's just interference I get from Mount Dandenong, or a repeater up there. Yeah, anyway, I didn't have the tool that you had there, the cutting tool, Joe, and I forget how I actually cut it, but I can remember it's really rock hard, is stainless steel. So, yeah, very good presentation there, Joe. Well, over the week we've been working on the Hillbillies transmitter still, getting pretty close to the pointy end and diving into the software end of things. One of the guys in the Eastern Mountain District Radio Club made a very nice little case for the Lime SDR Mini, and pretty much everything is in position, and I've modified the transmitter so that it's got a solid state switch there. If you use a power FET as the switch, you virtually almost don't have to put a heatsink on it, because the modern FETs are just a few milliohms of on resistance. So if you bias them hard on, they're virtually a short circuit, and there's no heat dissipating, and then you can hump quite a few amps through there, no trouble at all. In fact, that's the same switch as what I use on RTV for switching the penultimate at 12 volts and also the final at 50 volts, two different FET circuits, but very, very reliable, and hasn't given any trouble at all over the time. So yeah, that's been my week. I can show you where things are in position now, and like I said, it'll be just a matter of locating them permanently and doing the software for ports down, and then we'll get the Hillbillies back on to RTV, which will be really good. Let's just unpin this for a sec, and we'll come around here with shaky cam. And I think I've shown this one before, but it seems to be a very slow process. You can see there the Raspberry Pi, that's where that's going to be, and there's the Lime SDR Mini with its very nice little case, and you can see the cables fit okay. Unfortunately, the cable exit here doesn't fit one of these, and this is steel, and it looks as though it's about 2mm, so drilling through that would be not good with everything there. And that's the FET switch down there, just sitting there, and that's switching all of the current for all of this, and no trouble at all. Did look inside this particular device here, and a bit disappointing. It's I think it might have come from overseas, and I think I might have shown you this one before, but it's actually a bit of a pellet. It's not a design for purpose thing, and interior there, the mods are pretty rough. So yeah, I'm not sure that we're going to get full performance out of that one. But anyway, that's where we're at with that. And this afternoon we had some dramas with Mick and 3CH and his amplifier. It seems like the poor guy doesn't get too much luck. We were just recording the different power levels and currents, and we're up to I think 6 amps, and the maximum is 9, so we were well within the 6, and then suddenly it stopped transmitting, but still delivering, still taking the same amount of current. So to me that sort of smacks like maybe there's an output capacitor there, or the output connector. But I think maybe Mick should correspond with Bert over there in Holland and see what he says, and maybe we've got to put a soldering iron on the output, because that's the only thing I can think of, that there's nothing else there. It's just simply the FET. There's a connection for the bias, and then there's transmission lines and there's very little in componentry in it, so it's got to be something like that output capacitor. Anyway, that's it for me for tonight. I just have to feel for Mick. He's gone through one heck of a process for all of this, and he's still alive and kicking, I hope. So you've got my admiration, Mick, for what you've done, and also the troubles that you've experienced. But I guess that's amateur radio and experimentation, and hopefully we'll be able to get Mick on the air as soon as possible. On that account, I've ordered an EDID emulator, which I hope will solve one of the other problems we've got up there in terms of the streamers. Anyway, that's it for me tonight. I think we'll go back to Neil. So I think it's Neil 3BCU to take it on RTV2. This is VK3BFG with Shaky Cam.
Hold on. Getting everything right. Live TV. What can you say? Thanks a lot for that, Peter, and that's really a shame for Mick and all the trouble he's gone through. But we've all gone through various issues with gear we've built up. I don't think there's one of us that hasn't had something happen, and it's been very, very painful, a very painful process indeed. I did forget to mention you can watch the net on VK3RTV or through Ian VK3QL's YouTube feed, Rob VK3IE's BATC feed. Thank you very much, Rob. And Richard VK3 VRS's Discord feed. I haven't really got much myself this week, but this is something all you guys have probably known about and done, but I've just got a universal remote control. As you probably know, we've all got many, many remote controls in the shack, and they're everywhere, just absolutely everywhere. So I just bought this cheap universal training remote control. This has only got a few buttons on it, that's all I wanted, but you can get them with many, many more buttons and just train it to do whatever you want. I've got it for doing the volume control on the two set-top boxes, turning the TV on and off, doing other bits of switching around, and it's just one little unit without having to hunt for many, many units, and it also acts as a spare if you lose the other units. So $8 or something, you can get more complex ones, but I'm sure most of you guys have already woken up to that little thing with remote controls. Now next week, Ian is going to be the guest net presenter next week, so look out for Ian next week. Oh, I forgot about Ian. Ian's coming up soon. Okay, almost forgot about you, Ian. You haven't been on for a few weeks. So Ian, if you're ready to go, I'm on S, so it should be a fairly quick cut over. So Ian VK3QL, if you're ready, take it away. Ian. Well, 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 if
Good evening and welcome to television.
Great, thanks Neil for that. Yes, I'm the stand-in. What did I call it last time? I've forgotten. Anyway, no, great nets and more coming up. So Joe had a great presentation. Lots of hardware. We don't often talk about hardware for amateur radio, but it's very important. These are the, as I say, we should spend half the time and effort on our antenna systems compared with the rest of the net or the system that you're operating. All right. Yeah, net. Mick VK3CH will be following me, and I've got a bit to go through first. So you can stand and have a bit of a relax, Mick. Also on YouTube, we currently have 19 concurrent users. I had a look at before, there was about 5 on Discord, and I forgot how many were on Rob IE's stream on the BATC stream. So there's lots of people, and Nick VK3BA has. I've corresponded with him. He's picked me up on a bit of audio level. I was not monitoring them correctly, so that was great. So I started to adjust that. And we've got Steve VK3NF and David VK2DJV. As just some of the viewers there. All right, the first cab off the rank, I've got a report, which is actually I've been sitting on that for some time. A report from Rob, who's working on the, who's a leader, team leader, if you like, for the digital repeater, the new digital repeater in Geelong. So this is a report that he supplied a few, about 3 weeks ago. So I've been away for a while. So, but back with a vengeance, and even being a stand-in net controller. So anyway, here is Rob's report.
This is the October report on the progress of the VK3RGL digital amateur television repeater, brought to you by Rob VK3DG on behalf of the Geelong Amateur Radio Club. Our repeater will be located at Mount Anarchy, approximately 60 kilometres west of Melbourne. It will output a robust 50-watt DVB-T signal on 2,411 MHz, with inputs on 1,255 MHz and 1,246 MHz for both DVB-S and DVB-T. Recently, the group has gained access to the repeater site. A few team members are heading up to Mount Anarchy to rearrange the repeater link Yagi antennas, making way for the installation of both the receive and transmit planar panel antennas for the DATV repeater. We have selected a panel antenna for both the receive and transmit frequency ranges, which fits our needs perfectly and is ready for installation. Our plan is to mount 4 receive antennas at a 60-degree angle at the top and position the transmit antennas below. This will minimize the length of the LDF 550 coaxial cable from the transmitter to the building's bulkhead. However, the transmit panels are configured for horizontal polarization, providing 22 degrees of coverage for each panel. We may need additional panels to achieve the same coverage as the receive panels. We're currently developing a coverage plan for the DATV repeater to capture the locations of the majority of members from the Melbourne ATV group. This map is still in the conceptual stage and should not be relied upon as the final coverage area. Much more testing and plotting will be conducted before finalizing the configuration. This is a picture of the stainless steel box that will house the bandpass filter, low noise amplifier, and bias T for the receive antenna. The antenna combiner is positioned outside to ensure equal length coaxial runs from each pad of the combiner before entering the receiver head enclosure. We encourage your feedback and contributions as we move forward with this exciting project. We look forward to sharing more updates as we progress on this journey together.
Right. So that's the current report, and so there's getting access to the site, of course, is a key point, and so that's, and the selection of the antennas for transmit. And also there's been a lot of chatter about the receive software that Rob has designed and built in Go language and is on the GitHub site, which has been covered in previous editions of this net. All right, the next cab off the rank is the Tasmania Hamfest. With mic on, it helps. So this is on the 1st, 2nd and 3rd of November, weekend after next, and is the second one. And the program is out. It's been out for some weeks now. Space Weather Woman is the keynote address for the day one, and I'm hoping to attend that. And also on the Friday, 5 o'clock, at the club rooms, there's a barbecue. So if you can make it, that'll be great. Also, there's an online registration way of being able to experience the conference from a distance, as it were, by remote, by video feed. So. Justin is the second keynote address. Of course, we've got Rex and Murray, and anyway, there's a great lineup there. And what else? Yes, so it goes for 1.5 days, the formal part of it, and there's a wrap-up lunch at the end on the Sunday. So that's the story there. Now, this is going to be interesting. Yes, I'm certainly out of practice with this net business and presenting. More out of practice than normal, I would say. The next thing I was going to touch on was the ISS. Well, let's look at the passes for Melbourne for the next week. Just to note, the packet and FM repeater are operational.
Have you tried the repeater in the sky recently? Let's have a look at the International Space Station passes for Melbourne over the next week.
VK4 Echo Mike, VK7 Delta Whiskey, 57.
VK7 Delta Whiskey, VK4 Echo Mike, 57 here also, thanks for the contact.
73's move. VK5QI, VK2A's. VK2 station, go again, VK5QI. VK5QI, VK2 Alpha Zulu, QF56. VK2 Alpha Zulu. Quebec, India, yep, you have a big strong signal here, 5 and 9, cheers, 7-3.
Right, there's work still to be done on the Ham TV project. It was officially pushed back to October, but seeing we're at the latter part of October and haven't heard anything more, I'm no doubt we'll hear in the next few weeks further delays, because it's pretty crowded up there in space. You might think there's lots of space in space, but not on a spacecraft. So that's the story there, and you should be preparing for receiving the signal from the ISS for when it is switched on. Right, next weekend the BATC has got their what they call their CAT 24, their Conference of Amateur Television for 2024 online. They've got two parts. There's an in-person part, and there's the online session. So there'll be 4 speakers, which I've got a list here. And so that's the it's next Saturday, the 26th. It's available on YouTube and the VATC streamer under events, and also they're hoping to relay it onto QO100. Not that we're within the footprint of that, unfortunately. So it's on quite a convenient time for us, starting at 9 p.m. It's actually, they start streaming 15 minutes beforehand, so you can sort of get things settled and be ready for 8 o'clock start. After the welcome by Martin, G4FKK, who you will remember hosted us for the UK and QO100 side of our QSO party in August. Then it goes on to Dave, who will give some latest developments on Portsdown. Michael, who is an expatriate, expatriate in Spain, living in Spain now, but he gives he's quite a gifted speaker. So, and also he comes from a different angle on a lot of things. So I'm sure that'll be quite entertaining. Tom, his Open Tuner software has been very well received, and there's great interest in that. And yes, he's done some great strides in the Open Tuner software arena. And so he'll give an update on what he's doing and planning for that freeware, as it were. And Noel will give you news on the ISS Ham TV. Hopefully he might have more up-to-date news. That'll be at midnight our time on the Saturday. So that's the story there. Great. All right. Now let's go for a quiz. Great. All right. Hope you got them all right. They're going to be getting a bit tougher at this end. I can't remember how I managed the banks, but the latter section of this bank of questions seems to be more interesting. All right, I'll hand it over to Mick, but I'll do an outro now. And Mick, I don't see come up yet on standby yet. Mick, are you there? Yes, I see you with sound, so I'm ready to merge you in after my outro. Thanks. And thanks for watching, and I'm not sure who I pass it on to after, well, actually, you might let Mick know who to pass it on to after his segment. Back to Neil, Mick. All right, this is the outro, and thanks for watching.
And greetings everybody, and yep, the audio should be going down there. All right, quite a lot on tonight, and yeah, we're coming in via Ian's system as our current system is ill. So a long story. Anyway, yeah, over in Northcote when we used to be there, there was plenty of thin wire, like steel wire, holding up lots of the aerials. I think, how many of them? 16 at their peak, and it was actually handy. It sort of grabbed them to sort of walk through the roof. But the roof where most of the aerials were on were the internal valley, so if you lost your footing, there was a neighbour's house to land on. And of course on the other side there was nothing, because if you went on that side and lost your footing, you dropped 2 stories, probably to your likely death on the cobblestone laneway. So we didn't have much on that side at all. In fact, whenever you went over that side, it's amazing how you start shaking, and yet when you're on the side, you know, so you run around like a monkey. Well, we used to. Anyway, the aerials here are much more simple. Just some L-shaped brackets just underneath the gutter, and some, what do you call those things again? Star pickets just at the bottom to sort of, you know, as a fixture point. So a lot safer. All right. What else is happening? Oh yeah, the microwave activity day. Definitely hope to be a part of that. I'll go up to King Lake, our usual haunt, and have the usual frequencies and some television. And yes, we seem a bit unlucky, you know. It seems to rain, or had been raining, and where we go it can get a bit muddy. So with temperatures like today, that'd be really good to have all the ground dried out. All right, we have some pictures now. Middle of September. Yeah, boy, that's gone. Is where are we? Which is the right picture? This one? No, hang on. That one. Yes. Yeah. Okay, we had the talk that we gave at the Old Timers Club at the Caulfield RSL, which is sort of actually in Elstonwick. We were wondering about carrying it in and how we'd do that, but you can sort of go past the back bar, and the kitchen said, oh, we've got some kitchen trolleys. And of course I couldn't picture what a kitchen trolley was, but it's that. And look, it was just the perfect size, and everything fitted through the doorways. It wasn't too high, it fitted into the lift. So yeah, everything just worked. So there was the setup in the corner of the room. It was just a static display. Oh, we had power, but I mean, we promised everyone we wouldn't hit the transmit buttons on the microphones, which we didn't, but we could have if we'd set up any contacts, but no. And yeah, we thought we'd dress up and do it properly and appear gentlemanly. So there you go. And there we are at the table with a couple of suspects that you will no doubt recognise. So that worked out okay. Yeah, and that's you can see there the big screen with the projector screen where they put it onto the wall. And I had everything pre-recorded and pre-timed. I think the only time I'd have got up was a few times just to adjust the audio. It seemed a bit loud. Otherwise everything went off without a hitch. So that was good. Now what have we got? Yes. The continuing story of the transmitter. That's Peter. I don't know if you know the story. The transmitter stopped working. The FET inside it died, so we got a new one from Bert. It took about a month to arrive. Not so much the delay in the postage. That only took 2 days. It's just how often he goes to the post office. So in the end, getting it out, we pulled out one board, and as you can see there, we broke part of the side of the capacitor, and Peter managed to restore that joint with a little bit of silver wire. And as luck would have it, the silver wire and the solder on it enhances 1287 megs, something really good. And you can see there where the transistor has to be taken out. So what I did was I lifted up that side circuit board, undid the screws, and then heated the transistor and managed to pull that out. And then I could unsolder from the other side. As you know, these things are on heat spreaders. Let's see, that's the thing before we started the surgery. That's underneath it before we rubbed all the heatsink compound off. Now, I never know whether this stuff is safe or whether it's carcinogenic or whatever, but we just treat it as if it's nasty. I'm told it's just zinc oxide and that it's not nasty at all, but yeah, anyway. And there it was, all cleaned, ready to go. Now, what happened is these screws come out, and you undo those 2 screws from the other side, from above, and then you're left with, let me find it, that piece of copper. And where's the other one? Yeah. So the thing was sitting on top of that other piece of copper. So what I ended up doing was putting this on the stove, a gas stove, on very low heat, and gently heating the copper, and the solder just melted and gave away, and the copper dropped onto the stove, and that thing was unsoldered from the bottom. And we reversed the process to solder it back on when the new one arrived. So yeah, that's sort of some of the. I didn't actually get a picture of the stove. I was busy. And well, there you are. That's. Hang on. Just wait for the picture to update. That's you know, the mark that's left when it was heated on the stove and it fell away. So it's just on that little bit of copper, but then that's bonded to the other larger bit of copper. So and you can see there's a slightly further out view there. So anyway, that all worked, and I had it going here in the house for a couple of weeks. Now you adjust the various levels with the hides, and it would go up accordingly. So I thought, well, let's just look at the waveform. So I took it over to Peter's place today, workshop, and yeah, we did a few measurements and a few changes, and then it just, like Peter said, it was going up in current, but the watt meter was registering hardly anything. So yeah, Peter seems to think maybe it's that capacitor. Well, I hope it is. I suppose if the transistor had gone dead again, you know, it wouldn't be drawing. It's got the normal quiescent current and everything else. So yeah, and that's the picture of the bit that Peter fixed up with silver wire. So that's the story there. So we'll be waiting on an email to Bert and what he says. And just this afternoon then, for something different, I had a spare Raspberry Pi here, so I decided to find this All-Star image, and went onto the All-Star website and applied for a node number, and they said, oh yeah, wait 24 hours, like it's a bot that tells you that. About an hour later I get an email on my phone, here's your node number. So, in 1 hour, done. So somebody must have been awake in America or wherever they do it. So that's it installing. And you know, I put the my what do you call it, the Wi-Fi and your name and the some settings they give you. And lo and behold, after it booted up, and you know, you log in with your web interface, disappeared. Like everything just worked. First go. I was quite taken aback. And yeah, you go in there, more login stuff. So there's a board thing that I've ordered that goes to your Raspberry Pi. So that interface, it's got like a little transmitter on it. About, I don't know, 70 milliwatts, or was it 700 milliwatts? I can't remember, or 400. So there's the Pi. Now you would have seen them before. I've got two of those. That's just been sitting in the box. So I just had the. Oh, I did plug in the monitor because I was just curious to see everything going, and I was worried it might have a thing where, you know, press Y to continue or anything, but no, it was completely automated, and yeah, it just works. So, but without the board, of course, coming with the little radio thing on it. But you log in, and then you do a search for yourself on all the nodes worldwide, and VK3CH, and there it is, the node number, and you know, all the information you put in, and your location and everything else. So yes, that could be the go. So that's that done. So after I'm finished here, I will knock the email out off to Bert with what we've done. What else have we got? Oh yeah, we bought a few little things, some solder wick and stuff I thought I might have to use for something else, and for the amplifier, but no, I didn't end up using it, so bought that for nothing, but that's alright. And we've got this, it's a Andrew VK3FS. He's got like a beeper thing, and it transmits a series of T's, and you can get your call sign as well put in, and how many words a minute you want. I made it 10 words a minute, and he just burns all the details into the EEPROM. But what I've got is one of the transistors on the back, the emitter base and collector. I can't really see in the light there. The solder's one big blob, so I'm going to have to get a little bit of flux and get the solder wick onto that and just fix that up, and then that should be good to go. But with the 905, I actually ended up doing a audio recording of a series of T's with my call sign and then the K Morse code at the end of it, and actually recorded as a MP3 file, or WAV file, I think the radio uses. And the handy thing is there's two buttons on the microphone, so you can just push the button on the microphone and it will send out that beacon, whereas with the other one, I think you've got to push into CW mode and then press the memory button, and after you've done the repeater, you've got to put it back into SSB mode, and just remember all these things you've got to do. So anyway, I thought I'd take the slacker's way out. We'll just put that Pi back over there. All right, what else? I think that's about all my news in one block. So I'll call it quits, Ian. So, and yeah, I believe we're handing it back over to Neil VK3BCU. So, yeah, I think by the time Bert gives me an answer, and when he does get to the post office, I think he waits till he's got a few things. I could be waiting a month, I suppose, till we get on. I've still got the SR systems. I should really see if I can still get on with S. I probably can, but the SR systems is getting a bit glitchy these days. Now you've got to switch it on and off if it goes a bit pixelating. But there you go. But yeah, certainly big thanks to Peter. Now, I thought I was going over there. Oh, we'll just set some levels, you know. This will probably only take about 20 minutes. Yeah, right. Yeah, but anyway, that's how it goes. All right, we'll say cheers, and we'll put the test card up, and Ian, you can do whatever it is you do. And thanks for linking us in. Cheers, everyone.
Right, thanks for that, Mick, and it's a shame that your amplifier isn't working. Hopefully you'll be able to get it fixed very shortly and come up on our TV directly. That'll be great. There's been a bit of interest in 447 narrowband. I've been talking to VK3XKA Andy, and he's quite interested in getting up on 447 narrowband, DVB S2, 333 symbol rate. I think also Richard was talking about getting running on the 447, so we're still playing around with that, so hopefully more people will get interested and play some simplex on 447. Also, there's been a bit of interest in the All-Star gear. A few of us are on All-Star, sort of just tinkering around, and see Rob's been putting a few videos on the repeater, so we'll see how that goes. So that could be a nice little extra tool to help out with stations that are some distance apart and can't hear each other during the course of operating on RTV. So we'll see how that pans out, but there has been quite a bit of interest in running up the All-Star, as Mick just showed you there. Mine wasn't so easy, Mick. I think you're using the later version of the software, and it took me a long time, and I've rebuilt mine quite a few times, so I'm becoming quite familiar with what happens on All-Stars, so we'll see what happens. Okay, thank you very much for watching, everyone. Ian VK3QL is on next week, so look out for it. I'm sure he'll do a fantastic job. So thanks for watching. We'll see you around soon. Cheers.